All right, I think we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the virtual memorial for Cooley-Rounds. We're glad that everybody is joining us tonight, and we have a lot of special guests. We have Candace, Dylan's mom, and her friend Amy, if you want to wave, and Pat, who works with Missing in America, and she's been a big part of our team helping the Cooley-Rounds family. And we have Dylan's grandma, and we have Danny with Missing in America, and we have Mike with Profiling Evil. So I'm going to turn everything over to Candace and let her do her thing.
Hey, everybody. We want to thank you for joining us. Mike, I'm glad you were able to come up. I hope your travels back from the cabin was safe. Danny, Pat, you guys have been awesome. So we have some stories to share. We have some videos. We have a slideshow, and we're just going to start stuff rolling. If you have a question about the pictures you see, put them in the chat. We're more than happy to talk to them. My mom has some stories to share. My sister, she sent in some stuff. Lots of people lighting candles. I think the final count was a little over 2,300 is what I sent out, which was pretty crazy since we got a late start. So I see Nate Eaton's here. His coverage on Dylan's story has been amazing. So I say we start playing this. We'll just let it roll for a minute, and the questions can come in, and then we'll stop and let everybody tell their stories throughout it. And Mike, do not forget to mention you. He has had awesome coverage. He has been an ally I've been able to rely on that has been somebody I could bounce ideas off of when nobody else had the information that was supposed to be public. So he's been absolutely amazing in being able to talk to him and not worrying about the information going places it shouldn't go. Yeah, we have a lot of pictures. Pretty much all outside. Pretty much always outside. And if it wasn't for some of our moderators, Danny and Pat especially, I don't know if we would have got to where we are today. And Jazz, you, of course.
Yeah, I'm really excited about today because throughout everything in the last 2 years, the focus has not really been on Dylan. It's been on other things. It's been on finding where he was or who did it or what happened. And I feel like for the first time, this is all about Dylan. And so I'm really, really excited to share Dylan with everybody because during the course of 2 years, I've had the opportunity to speak with Candace a lot, and she's talked about Dylan to me. And I'm just so glad that everybody else is going to get to know him a little bit better today.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, Jazz, because it's like now that we've got Dylan back and watching how the interviews have changed and how I talk have changed. And you made a comment to me the other day saying that that's the Candace that I know, because I have been very open with Jazz and very real with her. And we've had to be reserved with the rest of the year to not jeopardize the case. And now finally, I can be the person with the world about Dylan that I have been with Candace. And that's right, Mike, in our last interview, and going out and filling in Dylan's grave. And we can talk about it now instead of having to stay silent. And that is just a huge relief.
Yeah, that's right. It's been really rewarding to kind of watch how you've evolved through this, how you've gone through the stages of frustration, how you've tried to work within the system, sometimes against the system. And I think there are a lot of lessons to be learned for both sides through this process. But families that have lost children or are looking for children shouldn't have to do any of that.
No, and you made a comment when I was out there with you and we were filling in the grave, and when the four of us were out there, that even in your career in law enforcement, you hadn't seen something like that have to happen. And we did it, and we showed the world that we did it, and you were right there beside us, and Jason Jensen was beside us, and we all did it together. So it just shows the support from complete strangers who've never had the opportunity to meet Dylan. It's more
Yeah,
families.
yeah, that's right. I mean, for folks, it was a pretty remarkable day to be out there, and I actually found myself often when I drive, I kind of think of what I would want to say, and I remember thinking about this sweltering morning of joining Candace out on the Utah desert in search of her son, this kid who's just a young farmer with dreams. And I'm looking across the horizon, and I'm getting a little, sappy and poetic. But I'm thinking, his life's cut short by a predatory killer who really didn't know Dylan. And even though this drive across there, 3 hours across desert's a long drive, nothing but sagebrush and sand across there. But it was pretty clear what the mission was. We wanted to get out and try to see if we could recover any more of Dylan's remains, and then of course fill in that grave. And I thought it was just a really nice tribute to Dylan's memory and a testament to your enduring bond, Candace, to him and this case. And I just really hope people support you. And I feel bad because I'm racing to get to another meeting in a minute, so I'm not going to be able to sit and watch this whole thing. I'll have to watch it on the replay.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. We'll have it out there. I'm going to add to it still. There's just so many pictures. Yeah, Mom, you remember that trip? That's when we lost Colton in Treasure Island. The one with Dylan, with Rocky Balboa. Remember we lost Colton?
Yep, they went on their own treasure hunt on Treasure Island on that trip.
It was only Colton. He got scared of the pirate ship and took off out of his stroller running.
Yep. When was it hot? It was about this time of year that we were there.
Oh, yeah. But so we had this pool party. So this is a great memory. So, Jazz, remember when I told you we're in a hotel room at Treasure Island? And remember I said that's the island that I took my kids to a pool party at?
I do remember.
So remember that, Mom? And then Dylan, they were all playing in the pool. Yep. And so Dylan, he was gathering everybody's aluminum beer bottles, and he started making castles and stuff out of it. So then all the drunk people in the pool, they're like, hey, look at these two little boys. And they started like dumping out their beer and bringing them all of their bottles. And then they start helping them build. And then they're like dancing on Dylan and Colton in their bikinis. And I looked at my mom and I'm like, oh, wow. I'm letting this happen, but they were having so much fun.
Oh my gosh, they built it so tall, and all those guys were helping them get it taller and taller. I mean, it was like the whole pool party joined on that. And I remember looking at Candace and thinking, wow, I think we might get in trouble over this.
Another year award. Oh yeah, that was a trip in itself. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yep. That's where that Rocky picture came from. Yeah, that was fun. That was our Hawaii trip that drug on forever and ever and ever. It's like, are we ever going to get to go home, Dylan? So he's hoeing his sunflowers right there. And there's a picture earlier. They're still right here. That's the same patch. It still grows. You should have seen it this morning when you stopped at Karen's, Mom.
Oh, yeah, I didn't look.
Yeah, that sunflower patch is still there.
That's in the Sharon plant.
That's when he got his tractor. Remember that day? Yeah. Mikey and I were there, and he got his tractor delivered, and he got not one bag, but 2 bags of M&Ms. Because he was young.
Easter Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah, so if you want to pause that, Jazz, and pull up the skating video, we'll kind of go back and forth in the slideshow.
Candace, do you have the Sharon video?
Yeah, I've got it. It'll come up. I've got it planned.
Okay.
Yeah. But this one cracks me up. So Mikey and I started taking the kids roller skating. And I can mute it. So this is how Dylan and Colton would roller skate. They would like try to walk in them. And Dylan would run up behind Mikey and I and act like he was going to chase us, but you could hear him coming because he was like trying to run in his skates. The coordination on skis was amazing, but roller skates, not so much. It was terrible. It would take him and Colt forever to get around. But then once we got him hooked, they never they didn't want to quit. So here, I'll remove that one. I can pull up another. Let me move that. So as Jazz and I are working on perfecting this, we are figuring out how to add more than one thing at a time. It's been a project, right, Jazz? We've been at it for a couple hours. Mike, we might need some help with that, buddy.
Yeah.
You can run like multiple screens at a time, and Jazz and I are like, that what? So let's go to this. I'll pull this up, Jazz. So this is Danielle and Tyson, and it takes a second to load. You can go back to the slideshow while I wait for this, Jazz.
Oh my gosh, the trip to Mexico.
Oh, yes.
The only time you ever got out of boots.
I still have those shoes somewhere. So I don't know where they're at, but I have it. And then he came home with that belt and belt buckle. He was so proud of it. And Mikey and I are looking at it like, and? Snakeskin pointy boots. Oh, yeah, those were great. Well, I was telling Jazz Mom, for those of you who don't know, so we live on the main highway, and so you'll hear the traffic all the time in the truck. So it was so funny when Dylan was driving his truck, and he'd be hauling beans, or even if he was just in his 10-wheeler, the big joke was you could hear Dylan like grinding gears and grabbing gears and revving the car. Like you knew Dylan was coming from a mile away. Like, oh, Dylan's on his way because you can hear him. It wasn't the nice, calm, like semi coming. No, He found
kind of like when he pulled out of here when he bought the semi from Grandpa. We listened to him grinding gears all the way down the highway.
Oh, he could drive. He just did it in his own type of way. Yeah, only a quarter of a mile, and he'd hit every gear there was. I might just have to post that one because it's not being very friendly. See if we can get this to come up. That's how Dylan tried clothes on. He didn't go in the dressing room.
I don't blame him. When he tried them on, I always bought him Carhartts and the same pant all the time for his birthday.
I don't know if they have any, honestly. Yeah, that I love. So I got so many of these pictures with people that have planted the seeds. That was a great time. That's when him and Colt, before they decided they didn't want to like each other for a minute. Potato harvest. You got the pictures you can pull up for Mom, Jazz, while I try to wait for this to load.
So that's Dylan's candle in front of a flowering apple tree that we planted with a little tractor of his that he had given his cousin McKenna, Candace's niece. And that will stay under that tree forever. And there are those little rocks surrounding it actually came from his farm.
Oh, that's perfect. That's a perfect place to lit your candle.
Yep. Candace might have to talk about that picture.
That wasn't one of yours?
No.
That might be my mistake. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
That one?
That one is. So that was taken back in 2007. We were building our shop. Dylan came to spend the weekend with us, and we put him on the end of a hose, and there was a big pile of dirt there from the excavation. And he stayed, you can kind of see the hose up on the top of the hill. He stayed there and played all day long, and he'd drive his little Tuffy car up and down that hill and crash, and he just had the time of his life that day. Never left that mud hole from about 10 in the morning until it was dark and we quit building. So he was having so much fun.
That is such a cool memory. I think this picture is adorable. It's the first time I saw it was today, and I think it's
That was just a pile of dirt from the excavation of the foundation.
Yeah,
it was a good day. Hot. Oh my gosh. It was like 105 degrees that day. It was so hot.
I think Candace is having connectivity problems. Did you have another picture?
Yeah, there's one more where he's wearing a pair of Nemo shorts.
You know, I haven't seen that one. She did mention that to me. I will look for it in a second and we'll put it up.
Have it.
You have it?
Mm-hmm. Give me a second. Yeah. Do you want me to send it to you? How do you want me to send it?
Yeah, you can send it to me however you want to, on Facebook Messenger or however.
Oh, okay.
You can email it, however.
I'll do it on Messenger. If I can spell today, it's a challenge. Is
she back? She is back. I'm going to bring her back up.
I'm back. Actually, I think my computer got hot because I insisted on sitting on the sun. So it's like 100 degrees. Yeah. He's like, "Why are we sitting in the sun?" I'm like, "Because I like it." My computer, not so much.
Yeah. But overheated. So this picture here, Candace, I think I made a mistake and thought this was for your mother, but was it one you wanted to talk about?
Oh yeah, so that is from Shaver Farms. They're just down the road from us. They had billings with Dylan. There's actually a video that goes to it also, but that's from a good friend that did the sunflowers, and that's still the other one that she did with all the cast iron toys and put it in the middle that her kids that were around Dylan's age played with. So yeah, it's just a tribute to Dylan from one of the local farm families.
That's great. That's great.
Did you get the picture, Jazz?
Let me look.
It's one of my favorite. Everybody in the family, I think it's their favorite.
I have not, and I don't see where how did you send it to me?
Messenger.
It hasn't come through yet, but as soon as it does, I will put it up.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull this one and go back to the slideshow. Thanks, everybody, for being patient with us. We're not professionals.
We're learning, right? We're getting there.
Yes, we are learning.
Whatever. It's so much better unscripted and just fun, like instead of having to follow something. Okay, so I just stuck a video up, Jazz. It's the second one, and that is the so that is my grandpa. Dylan's great grandpa drove that and bought it from him. And what did he buy that for, Mom? Like $6,000 with the generator and
I
everything?
with the generator, I think 5. Yeah, with the
Yeah,
big
and
generator,
so
light plant.
So I grew up and I would travel in the semi to sharing jobs with my grandpa and my Uncle Bob and my dad. And so this semi's been through the whole family. And then voila, what, 6 years ago, Dylan buys it. And there's pictures in the slideshow where he has his camper hooked to it. He's got this little trailer hauling straw. He got stuck one time in a port with it, and he never took the Cooley brothers off of it, never really registered it, never anything. And he would just cruise everywhere in that thing, everywhere.
Yeah, he used to like a pickup.
Yeah, he would drive. It was his pick. Well, and then his pickup did break down, and it was his pickup. He would be everywhere in that thing. You'd see it around town, and people would be like, "Candace, what does your son do?" And I'm like, "Don't ask me questions I don't have the answer to." Yeah, hauling straw, whatever.
That's awesome.
He got away with so much stuff through ports that just makes me chuckle. Like I don't know how.
So this, I think, because you lost connection and came back,
Yeah, it's fine.
from the beginning.
Yeah, I can control it.
Okay.
The only thing I can control on this, oddly enough, I think that's right about where we were. Yeah, it'll let me control that. Oh, this was a funny day. Dylan insisted on washing my windows as he's standing on the hood of my Armada with his boots. Like, really, son? Like this is how you're gonna wash my windows? You're gonna stand on my hood and dent it? But okay, whatever. You didn't argue with him. I will tell you that. When he had his mindset to something, you were just better off rolling with it. Let me see if I
So
can
cute.
get this to pull up now. I just think that video Danielle made, Mom, might be a little too long. It's just not.
Oh, maybe so. I don't know.
Well, it's 7 minutes, Jazz. I just don't think it's gonna pull.
You don't think so?
Well, it's trying.
Well, so we can. I know that Pat had something she wanted to say. We can let her go ahead and speak if that's okay while we're waiting.
Absolutely.
Well, that's Thanksgiving at my house.
Mom, Thanksgiving's always at your house. Who else's house would it be?
Well, I know, but that was his turkey leg. He always had to have the turkey leg.
Where at the same time we do the plumbing.
Yeah. Like Mikey says, it's the same time we're always plumbing in your house also.
Okay, I think we got that fixed, okay?
We'd love to hear you. It's your turn.
Me?
Yeah, you.
You're Pat, yes.
I actually have to write things down that I want to talk about because I have a very short attention span. So excuse me if I'm reading here from my notes as I speak. Thank you for having me on, Candace and Jazz. It's an honor to be part of the Missing in America team and to be supporting Dylan's legacy. And it's been an honor to help you along this journey. I admire you a whole lot, and I know I've told you that a lot, but I admire your courage, Candace. And so let me introduce myself a little bit. I'm Pat, known on social media as Justice Hunter or Girl Geek in Florida. I've been a proud member of the MIA team for nearly 3 years now. I'm the research and IT nerd, and who normally can be found behind the scenes, hunkered over my keyboard and not in front of a camera. So please excuse me if I appear a little nervous. I'm a little socially awkward. So with that said, but this is very important to me. I don't look at, and I've told Candace this, I don't look at Dylan as a case. This is personal to me. This became personal. I and my family, just a brief background, if my niece went missing in 1972 and she was missing for 16 and a half years. So I know, I watched my family, I watched my sister, I watched my mother, I watched them sitting on the couch smoking cigarettes back then. I was sitting in my pop's lap in his recliner watching them talk to the police about my niece being missing. And they basically did nothing. And I saw this and it triggered me, basically. And I saw the same thing happening in this case. And then it became personal. So it was no longer just a case to me. It became a mission to try and find justice for Dylan and to find Dylan. So with that said, I myself was very skeptical in the beginning. Dylan going missing, I too, especially it was the Memorial Day weekend and all. I figured he was just out with the guys partying and would come back, come rolling in out of money and hungover, like many others did. Then after learning his living situation in Lucian, I thought to myself, what in the heck did this kid do so wrong to get his butt put out in the middle of the desert? Because when I was a teenager, an unruly teenager in the 80s, my parents sent me on something called a Teens Challenge out in the high desert in California, where they drop you in basically the middle of nowhere and you have to survive. I don't think they do that any longer, but I thought that was a similar situation, Candace. I thought perhaps you guys were punishing him and giving him some good old-fashioned, here, go think about it for a while, kid. But it was in short order that I found that sadly was not the case. I found out that Dylan was truly, I either thought he was crazy at first for wanting to be out there in the middle of the desert, out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah,
but then I found out he was truly an exceptional young man. As I began to compile a social media profile and digital footprint on Dylan, as requested by Jazz, I was surprised to basically find nothing. I mean, after all, kids today, they're all over social media and playing online games and stuff, right? Insta this, Twitter that. Boy, was I wrong in this case. I found instead that Dylan was a dedicated, hardworking young man who was committed to his vision at the ripe age of 19 years old. Shoot, I still don't know what I want to be, and I'm 58, going on 16. And here is this kid up at the butt crack of dawn, planting seed and building his dream. With all the mental health and addiction issues plaguing today's youth, Dylan, who is a bright and talented young man, who stood as an example to other youth and young adults his age. His loss is truly a loss to us all, Candace. And lastly, but not least, in 2022, Hurricane Ian destroyed my beautiful garden, my yard, nearly my home with me in it. Afterwards, I found myself becoming increasingly depressed. I started to give up hope. I was crying and sitting in my torn up dining room with the ceiling falling in. And I look up, and here's this little packet of black-eyed Susans with Dylan's picture on it. I took my granddaughter and we went out and we planted those seeds. And a few weeks later, here were these tiny sunflower seedlings reaching out for the sun, growing up out of the disaster that Hurricane Ian had left behind. I thought about Dylan, Candace, and her unwavering resilience. And I thought, how dare me? How dare me sit here and feel sorry for myself? Get off your butt, dust off your boots, and get back in this thing we call life. Those tiny little seedlings gave me the hope and the strength to begin again. I thought about Candace's unwavering strength and fortitude to keep pressing on no matter what. I know that I've said it before, Candace, but I will say it again as a mother and a true friend. I truly admire your strength, your ability to remain calm in the midst of a storm, and to do it all with class. You are a class act, Miss Cooley, and I am here to support Dylan's legacy in any way that I can. Trust the family always, and always engage with empathy. And thank you. It's been an honor to be on this journey with you.
Well, thank you for that, Pat. And it was an honor. We're so glad we got to meet you in Florida when we were there last September.
I'm sorry, I don't remember you as Pat or your code name, whatever you as Key Lime Pie.
Key lime pie.
Oh, Mike, yeah. I had key lime pie for dinner.
Key lime pie. Yes, you were a big part of helping us with all of this, Pat. I mean, everybody, all you guys, everybody on this screen, Danny, all you guys, like, if truly this community wouldn't have came together and kind of got us back on the right track, I don't know what holes we would have fallen into and continue to fall into. So it's your community who got us out of that, and for that we are forever grateful. Mom, is Dad by you? Mom.
Oh,
I have to mute. Yeah, he's right here.
Get your butt in this one, Dad. Jazz, play the third one, the sheep one, third one on my screen. Scoot over here, Dad.
No.
Yes, scoot over.
Get off my lap.
It could have
Okay.
been professional, you know.
Right? So this was awesome. So my dad retired from shearing sheep after what, 45 years, Dad? In 2016. And he retired on sheep that myself and Dylan and my kids had ownership in. So this is Dylan. The day he was finally big enough to shear his first sheep, my dad sheared his last. And that's my dad helping Dylan. Sorry the video's sideways. Like I said, we're not professionals. We're trying. It does what it wants. But this is Dad helping Dylan. His last sheep and Dylan's first full one ever. And Dylan got the crap kicked out of him. It was great. But he didn't give.
Yeah, that's a good memory.
Yeah. Well, Dylan's looking at his machine like it's not going, Grandpa. Well, it's not hooked up, Dylan. Like you're missing part of it's not hooked up yet. And mind you not, I was filming and laughing so hard because it was quite comical. It was like probably 80 degrees that day, and of course Dylan's always in his Carhartt, his jacket, like he was always that way. But yeah, see, Dad's hooking up the machine. Dylan didn't realize he was missing part of it.
Hey, he done good. My first sheep took me 3 hours. Nobody showed me nothing.
Well, Dylan had help, Dad. I don't think like nobody babied you through it like Dylan got through it on that. So yeah, that's fun. I'm so glad I have that video. And there's a way longer one, but he did. He finally got it completely done.
Oh, he got it done.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun watching the kids finally be able to engage on a sheep job that was part of the families, and Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, he told me afterwards, I'm not so sure about that, Grandma. But I bet you he would have given it hell. There were more sheep.
So
Did
I
you
think
guys
it's
get that other picture? I sent
Which
it
one?
to you, Candace, and to Jazz on Messenger.
I have not received it.
Wait a minute.
On Messenger?
No, I looked. I have not received it. I don't know what's going on.
I don't have anything either. What is the picture of?
Dylan in his Nemo shorts in the middle of the blizzard.
I emailed you that one, Jazz.
I don't
It's in
see
your
it. I don't see it in the email. I looked.
I got it. I got
Can
it.
you, if you can just send it on, well, yeah, I can add it.
It's in your Messenger too, Candace.
No, it's not. I don't know what you're doing wrong, Mom, but it's not.
I'm not doing anything wrong.
I'm blaming you. It's not me.
Okay, so while we're figuring that out, what I need to do is I need to light my candle. And so everybody, what did you say, like 2,300 people, or is that what you said?
2311, I think, is what I sent out.
Ordered the sunflower candles to commemorate Dylan on his virtual memorial. And so I'm going to light mine here live. I can figure out how to work this thing. I never, I don't smoke.
Jess is not a smoker, so she's got to figure out how to use the lighter.
I'm going to have to get my husband. Childproof. There, I did it. There we go.
Childproof.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
I'm going to burn it. I'm going to set it here on my desk, and I'm going to burn my candle for Dylan. Thank you.
That is so awesome. So I hand delivered Jazz's when I went to Phoenix a couple weeks ago. So funny story about these candles. It got really hot, like it did everywhere. So we were like in the hundreds consistently. I had them all in my office that doesn't have air conditioning. That's just a little bully barn outside. And one night in the middle of the night, before I started shipping them, I woke up in a dead panic. Like my candles are probably all melting. So it's like 3 o'clock in the morning. My husband doesn't even know I get out of bed, and I go hauling butt out to the office. And luckily, there was a few that got a little melted, and I stuck them all in my little mini fridge in the office because I was like, "Oh my goodness, they're all gonna melt, and then I'm not gonna have anything." And I had such a hard time finding them, anyways. Yeah, that was like one of those panic middle of the night moments when I'm like, "God, Dylan's candles are gonna melt." I texted that to you, Jazz. Did you get it?
No, what is going on? I'm not getting. Oh, wait. You know what? I just got your mom's just now. So give me a second to get it added, and I will bring it in.
Oh, I just got it too right now.
Yeah.
You just resent it. You didn't hit send.
Hey, I am on Central. What do you expect?
I'm like, there's no way, Jazz.
I have internet that runs at 8 meg. Come on, cut me some slack.
It's okay. Like you said, we're not professionals. We're just having fun talking about Dylan. It's fine. Which, when everybody sees this picture, and for the people that know me and know that I don't care about matching clothes, and sometimes my shoes don't even match, this picture just fits perfectly with Dylan being raised by me because he was about the same way.
It's going to be a second here. All right. Now.
So, and for you, those of you who don't know, my friend Amy, so our 6 kids between the two of us, oh my goodness. Yeah. The shenanigans and the stuff at the feedlot at school. And so they were all in the same age. Our kids ran around and, well, and funny story, like I actually left Amy's kid. I forgot one of them one time. And I almost had a heart attack over it because I always did a head count because I packed so many kids around. Yeah. And we forgot Clayton, and it was still, and he's like, well, we don't have Clayton. And she was like, we don't have Clayton. I'm like, oh my God, we forgot Clayton.
He was fine.
He was
right
fine.
where he was supposed to be.
He knew what to do. Oh, yeah, our kids ran around and had so much
Oh
fun.
my gosh. those three boys, when I would watch them, about tipped me over sometimes. Clayton
We didn't
was
even
going
watch
one
it.
direction.
Yeah,
I did. Colton went another direction. They were trying to hide from me, and I'm like, ah.
See, we just gave up. We would just sit and hang out, and we were just done. Like you can't babysit these out of control things. Like they've got 80 acres to go do what they're gonna do. Just let them go do it.
Broken down pictures, the fields, in the middle of the silence.
Bloody noses. Broken feet. Oh, okay, yeah.
Dragging back like calf.
Oh yeah.
Sticking in the bathtub.
Yeah, right.
Stuff.
Yeah, you never knew.
Just
You
boys
never
being
knew.
boys.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun.
It was fun.
There's no outline in the feedlot.
Oh yeah, I got tons of pictures of that.
Yeah.
In fact, I got some on
Oh my
here, and I
gosh.
was
Oh,
just
there's
looking
that
at. Yeah, see, that's me. That's how I dress.
So this picture was taken
He's not
probably
gonna.
about mid-February, and
Oh, this is how I dress. It's fine.
yeah, it was taken about mid-February, and it was snowing sideways outside, and I desperately needed to get some grocery shopping done. Dylan was with me. I said, "Hey, Beth, go get dressed. We got to go into Idaho Falls to get some shopping done." So he goes in and gets dressed, and this is what he comes out in. And I said, "Buddy, are you sure that's what you want to wear to town?" He says, "Yeah, Grandma, it's cool." So away we went. So here we are walking to the grocery store, walking everywhere else that I had to go, and people are just kind of looking at me, and I'm like, "Hey, he's 5."
Right.
And he was so happy. And if you'll notice those boots that he had on, those, of course, were his favorite boots. But yeah, I think he loved his Nemo short.
That should be one of the pairs I have on as decoration in my house. I've always used Dylan's boots as decoration. Always. You got Nicole.
Yeah, we have.
Yes.
Now, what you don't see in this picture is he had a great big giant parka on it as we're walking around the stores with his Nemo shorts. So it was it was a good day. It was funny as could be.
That's awesome.
Hey, Nicole, how are you?
Hi.
Hey, everybody recognize Nicole Smith.
I
Hi.
was just looking at this adorable picture.
That's what I was just telling everybody. He dresses like me. Like, I don't know why people need to match. I've never figured.
I can attest to that too because I picked her up one time and she had the craziest outfit on. I actually have a picture. I should share that picture.
It's just because well, even like my husband, my daughter, everybody's like, really? You're gonna walk out of the house in red shorts and an orange shirt or a yellow shirt? I'm like, yeah. And then we always have our color argument. So maybe I'm just colorblind, Jazz. Maybe that's why I don't care. It just doesn't matter.
I don't know when you came on, Nicole, but this picture was taken when it was well below zero, snowing sideways, and away we went.
Love it.
Yeah.
So cute.
Nicole lit her candle today. I got that's the third video up, Jazz.
Okay.
So before we show this, so I want to talk a little bit about how we've all kind of connected. So, you know, in September of 2023, and we all met at CrimeCon, and we had to do a panel. We kind of felt each other out, and throughout the last year, we've stayed in contact, and it's amazing because the more we talk and the more things we do together, we have started to see that Gabby and Dylan. And for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, Gabby Petito, this is Nicole, her mom. Man, they were the same people. They were the same kids, right, Nicole? We sit and it is absolutely mind-boggling to us when we start talking about stuff, and we're like, if these two could have met under different circumstances on this earth, like both of them were amazing souls. The stuff they loved, the stuff they did, the pictures they took.
Yeah. And then the sunflower thing is definitely like, it's crazy because they both were obsessed with sunflowers. Yeah.
So we've been doing a lot together and conferences, and we have a lot more coming up in the future. But if you want to play that, so I love what Nicole did for lighting Dylan's candle today. It's awesome.
That was just a little thing. So that picture of Gabby up in the corner there, we saw, so we came home from Vegas where we went to the, I'm sure, did you tell them about the Parents of Murdered Children conference a little bit?
I didn't really talk about it tonight, but I think everybody knows we were there. Everybody who's on there.
So me, Candace, Tara, and Jazz were there. I get home from the conference and I see this little USB drive sitting on my table. And I'm like, what is this? And my husband's like, oh, I think it was Gabby's. I found it. So I plug it in, and this picture that I have never seen before of her holding a sunflower in front of her face pops up.
Oh
And
my
I'm like, you've got to be kidding me right now. This is crazy.
God, it's so crazy.
It's crazy. And I think it was her way of saying that she loved what Candace and I did. Tara is probably going to get the same tattoo, but Candace and I got matching tattoos.
And we got Jazz.
I don't know.
She's got.
Did Jazz, do you have the photo of it, Jazz? And Jazz got the sunflower, right? And we got our
the kids' initials, the G and the D.
So it's just like a bond of two moms, and just the bond of it of Gabby and Dylan, and then Jazz having the sunflower to represent, and when Tara's ready, she's gonna get the sunflower as well, and it's just a bond of all of us that have this horrible tragedy.
It's funny because after we went through that, and like I've told my husband and I've told my mom some and some of my friends, so as we were meeting the therapy dogs, and I still have these poodles, and so I decide, I'm going to keep one, and we all talked about it and doing it through our organizations and offering it. So then I'm stuck in the Salt Lake airport in the huge IT mess, and I'm walking along, and here comes this group of therapy dogs that are all standard poodles. And so I stopped them and petting them and taking pictures, and I sent it to Nicole and Jess and everybody. I'm like, okay, enough with the signs, people. Like it's getting a little I've never seen a group of therapy dogs in an airport in my life, ever. And I've been in a lot of airports, and here we are talking about therapy dogs, and I have standard poodles. It was crazy, and I wasn't even supposed to be in the airport that day. So it's just little signs everywhere that I guess I have been able to take a deep enough breath now to stop and listen to.
Yeah, and you had that tractor, right, with just a random sunflower growing.
On top of it, now it's growing out the wheels, and the pictures are on the slideshow, and I'm like, okay, yeah, lots of them everywhere. So it's kind of crazy. You just get little. It kind of gives you the chills when stuff like that happens.
Yeah, signs are real. They are totally real. So
yes. Well, I learned from you guys, like when we were in Vegas and calling out numbers of mice, and would they be like? It means something, and I get that. I'm starting to get that. Like I'm finally being able to focus on something besides. Are we going to get a guilty verdict or move on? I'm finally being able to focus on other stuff, which is great.
Exactly, and that's what Tara and I focus on all the time. We call each other, text each other all day with different signs that we see, and it makes you feel good. It reminds you that they're still around. So it's amazing. But yeah, I just wanted to do that for Dylan. I lit the candle, and I had to just add that little photo of Gabby because it's like a little gift from her saying hi. So
This where it just popped up when we all got home, like just crazy, just weird what happens.
Yeah,
it's crazy. So and thank you so much, Nicole. It's great.
Thank you. We
legacies and do amazing things. So
we'll do a lot together.
Yeah.
So thank you for having me pop on, and happy birthday to Dylan.
Thank you. He hears you.
All right. Love you guys.
Okay. Love you too. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Do you want to play My Sisters now as we're getting close to an hour?
So are we talking the slideshow?
No, the second one. I'm going to remove the one from Nicole. It's the second one. It's Danielle and Tyson and Dee talking.
Yeah.
My name is Danielle and I'm Dylan's.
My name is Tyson and I am Dylan's uncle.
I'm Dee and I'm Dylan's cousin. So So we're gonna each tell you our favorite memory of Dylan today, in the run up to his 22nd birthday and then the memorial. So I'll go ahead and start. My favorite memory of Dylan was actually on my wedding day. So on my wedding day, I had Dylan in my wedding as part of my wedding party, and he wasn't very happy about that. For those who know Dylan and Millie and Babe, he wasn't happy about being in front of the camera. He definitely wasn't happy about walking anybody down the aisle. It wasn't his thing. So he was kind of angry at me about that right away. And then as the night progressed, we were dancing and having a good time. And I went and snagged him and went to go pull him on the dance floor. And of course, his answer was, no, Auntie, I'm not going on the dance floor with you. I'm not going to dance. And I told him it was my wedding day, and because I was the bride, he couldn't say no to me. And so that made him get up. And so there's a picture of it that's going to be shown, and so you can see his smile in it. At first he was obviously against it, but then within a few seconds he was happy, and him and I danced to several songs that night. And so that's my favorite memory of Dylan. Dylan has a cousin, our youngest daughter, her name is McKenna, and so I'm going to tell her favorite memories of her cousin. And so her favorite memories of her cousin are him giving her rides on snowmobiles and then on dirt bikes. So we did a lot of camping with Dylan, and then Dylan was real big into snow machines, fixing up older snow machines. And so the picture that's sitting on the table, and then that will be shown as McKenna on the back of Dylan's dirt bike. And it was, when you're camping, it was really rainy up there, and so he took her for a ride on his dirt bike, and it was really cool. She loved it. And then also, there's a picture on the back of a snowmobile, and that was up to Island Park, Idaho. So those are her two favorite memories of her cousin.
So my favorite, or most fondest memory of Dylan, we, like my wife said, we used to do a lot of camping together, and he come up with him and his little brother Colton, and they brought their dirt bike and their four-wheeler, and they were riding around with us all weekend. And there was this one hill in the back that they really wanted to go, this trail. But we'd been up the trail before. It was really rocky, really steep. So we told them time and time again, you know, please don't go on that trail without anybody with you. It's too steep, it's too hard to get around. And we all left for a ride, and we got back to camp. It had been a little while since we had seen him, so we decided, let's go around the trails and see if we can track him down. It was getting kind of later in the afternoon. So we took off, and we went around, and we finally discussed it. We said, let's go up this trail, because we're probably pretty sure that's where they went, because that's what young boys do. If you tell them not to go somewhere, that's where they want to go. And so we went around the trail, and it was sure enough, we found them up there, and they were stuck on the hill. Colton was about halfway up the hill on the four-wheeler stuck, and Dylan was a little further up the hill on the dirt bike with it laid on its side, and he was stuck. And neither one of them were strong enough to get the dirt bike or the four-wheeler off. So I helped Colton get his four-wheeler down the hill, and then went back up the hill to help Dylan. Realized I couldn't push it up, so I walked back down the hill, grabbed the four-wheeler, our big four-wheeler, and went around him. I was going to use the winch to pull him up, and that didn't work. So I ended up walking back down the hill to the dirt bike and lifted it up and starting it and was walking it up the hill. And we did a few cussings and a little yelling at each other, and we finally got it up the hill. And then we got laughing because I was so exhausted by the time we got to the top. Dylan was laughing at me, telling me that, he goes, Uncle Tyson, you're going to pass out up here if you don't catch your breath. And so we finally got to the top of the hill. We got down off the other side, all safe and sound, and had a good chuckle about it. And about 2 or 3 years later after that, we went back up to the hill, and we ended up planting some sunflowers in that spot for him. And so that's kind of my most fondest memory with Dylan.
And we realized how steep it really was.
Yeah, it was just as steep as we remember it, and just as rocky.
Yep. My favorite memory with Dylan was probably a couple years. We've been pretty young. He had this chicken coop up at the feedlot in Hazleton, and he had built this chicken coop and had all these chickens, and he always told me, let's go catch these chickens and feed these chickens. We got to make sure they're fed and have water.
And so I was always like, Dylan, I'm scared of chickens. Like, you're going to have to catch them for me. I got you. I'll catch them for you. So he'd always go out there and catch me these chickens. I had this favorite one that had really, really bright blue eyes, and I remember it being really, really soft. And he'd always catch me this one chicken so I could make sure it had water and it was fed, and it was all okay. And he'd go and pick it up for me and tell me, okay, I'm going to hand this to you. You just got to grab it on the back side, hold its wings to itself, so to its body, so it can't fly away and peck you. And he'd go, okay, hold your hands up now. And he'd reach out slowly to hand me this chicken. Never failed. I could never hold the wings tight enough or get it fast enough. It'd always fall out of my hands or reach back and peck me, and I'd drop it every single time. And he'd always tell me, you gotta grab it, you gotta get it faster, you gotta do this, you gotta change what you're doing. And I'd look at him and go, Dylan, I'm scared of chickens, I can't do this. And every time he'd tell me what I had to do, what I had to change, and it never worked. It never worked. So that's probably my favorite memory, is how even though I still am scared of these chickens and getting pecked chickens, he'd always make a point to get me these chickens and at least include me to where I felt included. So that's probably my favorite memory of Dylan. So I guess with that, just want to say happy 22nd birthday, Monkey, and I love you and I miss you.
Happy birthday, Dylan. You still use the toolbox you gave me for camping.
I'm still really afraid of chickens. I don't pick them up.
So I think, Jazz, that you have a slide with 3 pictures that back up their stories, right? Did we figure that out? I'm not going to guarantee it.
Yep, I do.
Okay. Yeah, so we can tell. Yeah, so there's Dylan and Danielle dancing
At a wedding, right?
Yeah. Yep. He was having fun. There's him and McKenna on the motorcycle. I call her Booger, by the way, so if you hear me refer to Booger did something, that's sorry, Booger, but it's never going to change. And that's Snow Machine. And then let me see if I can pull this last one up before we close out. So we will have this slideshow live. I'm going to put it on Dylan's Facebook, so we didn't even get all the way through it. And I do still have more to add to it, so we'll definitely be able to see it. But I'm trying to see, as Dee was talking about the chickens. Oh my goodness, Dylan and his chickens and his roosters. I'm with her. I do not like chickens. He had so many chickens. We actually used to own a bar, and we would do chicken ropings at the bar with Dylan's chickens. Right? Mikey, remember the chicken ropings? And so it's so funny. So I would send people out to catch the chickens if Dylan wasn't around. And oh man, I'll find it. It would take me a bit. But Dylan and his chickens were something else. Yeah, they would follow him, but they disliked any other human being that would come into contact with them. I'm like, what is wrong with you chickens? Yeah. No, he would go out there and talk to him, and they'd come running like my dogs come to me. His chickens would come to him. Great. I think at one point he probably had 80 or 90, and we moved the chicken down from a neighbor to the feedlot, and then here we go. Here, this is a great one. Let me get this. This might take just a second. It's 35 seconds, but yeah.
So we have a question. Do you name the chickens?
No, Dylan would just call them chickens, and I didn't have anything to do with them. This was all Dylan. He took care of them. There's a picture on the slideshow also of a duck from my friend Kim that they call it Dylan Ducky. Like, he had a way with fowl. He had turkeys. We'll have to find the videos and put them on Facebook. So when I was still married to his dad, we had this turkey. We had several turkeys. So we had this one turkey, Tom, that stuck around. And this turkey, I don't know if you remember that turkey, Mom, but remember, you couldn't even come in the front door. It was this big old white Tom turkey, and like, it was fine with Dylan, but Colton was just an infant. Brooklyn was just toddling around, and Dylan had no problem with the turkey. But everybody else who came around or came to the house, you did not mess with that turkey. Like, and then if you turn the hose on, he loved the hose. That turkey always wanted the hose, and so I'd go to water flowers or something. No, I would just drop it because the turkey would come after you. I'm like, I'm over you. There, now you.
He just scared of me at first. And then he wants to sit by me.
I can't see him very good through the chicken wire, bud.
Okay, buddy. He's kind of scared of me. But once you sit in there, I sat in here for about 10 minutes and just patted him, and he ate out of my hand, and he's just so... But it's just kind of hard to get to him. He's scared at first.
Did you give him some cat food?
No. I didn't find where
It's in the tub in the garage. But then I got better ones where the chickens are kicking the crap out of them and the roosters are attacking them. Those are even funner. This is like the nice stage. But yeah, like I said, I've got so much more to put together, but we will put the slideshow out on Dylan's legacy. Unfortunately, it wouldn't let us add videos here for this, but there's so many, man. It's so many. I mean, we haven't even touched on. Dylan did more and accomplished more and seen more and experienced more than most 80-year-old people do. He really did. He had an amazing life. Maybe he did it all so fast because he knew it wasn't going to be long. I don't know. But the pictures and the videos and what he did was truly amazing. So.
Before we close out, I wanted to give Danny an opportunity to say something if she had anything to add.
Oh, gosh. Hello, everyone. So I took the journey with Missing in America a while back because a friend of mine, her son was missing, and I couldn't give up not looking and searching for him until we could bring him home. I have followed Dylan's journey from day one, and I never would have met Candace and Jazz had it not been for Dylan. And I drive around town here, and I go up and we go fishing, and I live in a small farming little town, and everywhere I look, there's sunflowers. And I can't not think of Dylan. Like, I never got the opportunity to meet Dylan in person, but he is everywhere that I look. And I admire you, Candace. And this has truly been a blessing for myself to be with you, to be your friend, and to work alongside of you and Jazz, and to help other families, to be part of Dylan's legacy and a team member of Missing in America Network. And I'd like to wish Dylan a happy birthday. And I just want to share something. Dylan, your love of God's soil has been passed on to family, friends, and strangers throughout the world. May your legacy live on. And I thank you guys.
You know what, Danny? That hearing you came to the first time I got to meet you, everything you've helped on, everything Pat has helped on, everything Jazz has helped on. Like I said, you guys are truly a network that can help parents have the strength that I have built. You guys stepped in the very beginning, and I don't know what it was about you ladies. I don't know what it was about your network. I didn't trust anybody at that point after all the craziness, but there was something about you guys that my gut said, let them take control and let them handle this craziness for me. And I am so glad I did. It is one of the best decisions in my life. So all three of you and everybody else who's on the Missing in America Network team, it is an organization that people need to realize how important it is when you put positions like I am.
Thank you for your kind words.
Absolutely.
We are honored to be there for you. And every family that we work with, we're honored. And you know what that feels like now, Candace?
I know, right? We got it. We're gonna do big things. We're gonna make some changes. We're gonna help some other families, and we're here for everybody. That's what it's about. Just be out there, help people.
I think you're right. Like, we are a safe zone, and we do take on crazy, and maybe we're crazy, but I think we do it well.
Yes. I do have a message from Justin, who didn't join us tonight. He wants to thank everybody for their support. He appreciates it. He's just not as public as I am, so he did want me to pass that along to everybody. So I want to make sure and get that out there. As far as me, I'll always be here with you ladies, and we will continue working closely together to help as many. So.
Yeah, so everybody in the audience, thank you so much for coming, and everybody that watches this afterwards. I'm so thrilled that we got to show some of Dylan to everybody, because from now on it's about Dylan. It's not about what happened to him. It's not about anything except for him and his legacy and the mark that he's going to leave on the world. And so I thank everybody for coming, and thank you for supporting the family during this last 2 years. And do you have anything else to say?
No, I just want to thank everybody, and to be continued.
So I think I'm gonna close out with the video that I made 2 years ago for Dylan.
Yes. Yes.
I'm just gonna close out with that.
Yeah.
Got to give, going 10 steps farther. It's a dusty cap to cover all that you put on like armor. The days are long, the work is hard, but your calloused hands are harder. The only thing tougher than the farm is the farmer. It's dinner time and sunset, knowing that a bunch of folks that you ain't met, you gather around the table with enough to pass around. It's a good dog and a dirty truck, a hand helping your neighbor up. It's the whole world counting on us, and we ain't gonna let them down. It's giving all you got to give, going 10 steps farther.
So that's the video that I made for him on his birthday 2 years ago, and here we are. So thanks again to everybody. We're going to close out.
Yes.
And, one last thing. Stay tuned, because we have things planned for the channel. We did one educational video, about a month ago, and we have lots more planned. We're just getting started. So I hope to see you all back here the next time that we have an educational video or a family to talk to. I want everybody to come and be a part of the St. American Network and Dylan's legacy, and help us help families. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Jazz, Pat, Danny, Mom. I'll see everybody later. Amy, Mike.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Be safe.
We're off. We're done.
Okay.